managed to make it back to shore without too much trouble. The cats, on the other hand, did not fare so well. Until this point, you have been witness to Peter's rather typical infancy, probably not unlike your own. But it was only a matter of time before he distinguished himself from the teething masses. The first hints of this appeared in Peter's uncanny gift for survival. Since he had no parents to purchase clothes and food for him, he found it necessary to take matters into his own hands. There is an old saying about how easy it is to take candy from a baby. This saying is utterly false. Anyone who has tried to take anything from a baby knows well what sort of crying, kicking, and general commotion will ensue. It is very easy, however, for babies to take things from us. Despite being blind, young Peter had no trouble sniffing out fruit stands and vegetable carts to steal from. He would toddle wherever his nose led him and innocently cut his teeth on whatever food he wanted. He soon began to pinch other necessities, such as clothes, bedding, and a bandage for his eyes. He tried stealing shoes, but found that he preferred going barefoot. By his 3rd birthday, he was an expert in petty theft and a known menace to the vendors. More than once he had been caught in the act, only to slip away before the constable could be alerted. One problem with a life of crime is that it lowers your chances of social advancement. Law-abiding citizens take one look at children like Peter and turn the other way, never to offer sweets, toys, or hope of adoption. In providing for himself, our boy had all but guaranteed that he would grow up parentless and alone. All that changed, however, when he met an enterprising fellow named Mr. Seamus. Mr. Seamus was a tall, wiry man with meaty hands and an enormous head. Because of his clumsy touch, he had been unable to live out his dream of becoming a cat burglar. Instead, Mr. Seamus had taken a career as a beggarmonger. A beggarmonger, as you might imagine, is someone who deals in beggars. The man had built up a business of adopting orphans, maiming them good and proper, and then sending them out into the streets to beg for coins. Any child who dared come home empty-handed was throttled and sold to the workhouse. All told, Mr. Seamus had probably gone through about 30 orphans in his career. Peter was 5 years old when the beggarmonger first spied him beside a fruit stand in the market. "Hello, boy," Mr. Seamus said upon his approach. "What's your name?"
"They call me Blind Pete, sir,"
the small boy said, still too young to know not to talk to strangers. Mr. Seamus leaned closer for a better look at him. It was his experience that blind children made especially successful beggars. "And where are your parents?" he asked.
"I don't have parents,"
the boy answered. By now, Peter's hunger was getting the best of him, and so he quickly reached a hand behind his back and stole an apple from the fruit cart. Mr. Seamus glimpsed this action out of the corner of one eye, and it nearly took his breath away. The boy had stolen the apple not from the top of the stack, but from somewhere deep in the middle, leaving the outside completely untouched. For an ordinary person, such a feat would be impossible, but for this filthy child, it was second nature. Mr. Seamus knew at once that he was standing before a very gifted thief. The man leaned closer, eyeing the boy's delicate fingers. "Well, Pete," he said in his sweetest voice, "my name's Mr. Seamus, and I'm ruddy glad we met. You see, I'm a great, important businessman, but I've got no son to share my riches with." Mr. Seamus took the apple from Peter's small hands, biting into it as he spoke. "How would you like," he bit again, "to become my business partner? You could live with me in my mansion, eat my food, and play with my dog, Killer."
"What kind of dog is it?"
Peter asked, hoping very much it was big enough for him to ride.
"It's a Siamese,"
Mr. Seamus said after thinking a moment.
"Are Siamese big?"
"The biggest. I suppose he could swallow you whole if he wanted."
Mr. Seamus tossed the apple core into his mouth and swallowed it whole.
"Now, what do you say, boy?"
There was no mansion. There were no riches, servants, or feasts. Killer was real enough, but he was missing a leg and quite old, and like most old things, he hated children. Instead of giving Peter rides, he spent most of his time limping, growling, and lapping the drip off his disgusting snout.